capturing every moment. The news spreads like wildfire, and everyone is happy for them, except the queen, who is boiling with rage. We then see Mr. Lee, confused and shaken, stepping out to catch his breath as he feels everything has fallen apart. The queen approaches him, trying to convince him to use his authority to stop the marriage, but he refuses, saying that since the crown prince himself approved it, he cannot go against his orders. He leaves her. The queen returns, and the Prince Leon asks her to dance. She tells him she never imagined he would deceive her like this, warning him she won't let the marriage continue so easily. He responds that she cannot oppose a royal decree issued by the crown prince, and that if she wants the marriage to proceed, it will be under his conditions, not anyone else's. He shocks her by revealing that he knows dangerous secrets about the modification of the late king's will. She is stunned and realizes she has fallen into a trap. On the other side, Hyuju dances with Mr. Lee. He remembers their school days, showing he still cares about her. She asks him not to oppose the marriage and to give her a chance to prove herself. He agrees, on one condition, that she stops lying to him and becomes honest, and in return, he will stand by her side. After the banquet, Hyuju is extremely happy with the queen's ring. She tells the Prince Leon she used to see his mother wearing it all the time. Their relationship begins to grow closer, even though they agreed the marriage is just for mutual benefit. The Prince Leon laughs and tells her the ring is a national treasure and she will return it after the divorce. But it's clear he is already becoming attached to her. Later, Choi sits with Secretary, and it becomes clear he has fallen for her. The Prince Leon then enters with Hyuju, and Secretary tells her that all media outlets want interviews with her after the sensation she caused. Hyuju agrees immediately and asks the Prince Leon to allow her to wear the ring during the interview the next day. At the same time, Taiju appears happy that his sister will marry the Prince Leon, but he suspects something is wrong, especially after learning that the mechanic has died, which means something big is about to happen. The next day, Noble Rang arrives and meets the queen, shocked that she agreed to the marriage. She tells him there's nothing she can do since it's a royal decree, but reveals a bigger problem. The Prince Leon knows everything about the late king's will. We learn that the king had written in his will that Prince Leon should inherit the throne, but she tore and burned the will and was responsible for his death so that the crown prince would take the throne instead. She tells Rang she agreed to the marriage not because she supports it, but because she cannot oppose it, and instead, she will prove that Hyuju is the prince's weakness and place her directly in danger. Hyuju then gives an interview with the press, speaking beautifully about the Prince Leon, mentioning they were classmates, and emphasizing how he protects her. At the same time, the Prince Leon watches the interview and laughs at her innocence, clearly showing he has truly fallen in love with her. Later, Hyuju returns to the royal suite after the Prince Leon asks her to come back under his protection, as there is a spy among them reporting to the queen. Because of this, Du decides to stay with her in the palace to watch over her. The next day, Hyuju arrives at the palace with Mr. Lee to meet the Prince Leon. He decides that their wedding will be a royal one, especially after all the incidents. It must be a day people will talk about for a long time. During their conversation, Mr. Lee tries to get closer to Hyuju and jokes with her, but the prince becomes visibly jealous. He reminds himself that in just 2 days she will be his wife, so he shouldn't behave this way, but he is shocked when he realizes Mr. Lee knows about their arrangement. He argues with Hyuju for trusting Mr. Lee, but she reassures him that Mr. Lee is the one she trusts most, and that they need him on their side to achieve their goals, especially since she doesn't fully trust the Prince Liane and believes he might abandon her at any moment. Because of this, the two of them sit down and begin writing the terms of their marriage. It will last for 3 years, and everything between them must remain secret. Before they can finish, the queen enters, and they quickly hide the paper. She says she heard they were there and came personally to invite them to dinner, since they will soon be family. They gather at the table, laughing and joking, but the queen tries to drive a wedge between them by provoking the Prince Leon with words about his father and brother, blaming him for their deaths. Hyuju can't tolerate it any longer. She stands by his side, takes him, and leaves. She tells him she is barely holding herself back because they're not married yet, but if she could, she would have dragged the queen by her hair. She assures him that once they're married, she will eliminate anyone who stands in his way. He laughs at her words and asks her to take him out of the palace because he is tired of it and everything in it. She takes him to her yacht, feeds him all the food he's been deprived of, and tries to free him from the restrictions of his life, letting him experience a bit of freedom. They spend a pleasant time together. We also learn that before the banquet, the Prince Leon went to her personally, and they practiced their dance together, showing that their love story had started long before. When Hyuju suddenly slips, but Leon quickly catches her before she can fall. She immediately grows flustered around him. After that, they return to the palace, both visibly tense. The servants become worried when they notice the prince has returned without his guards, so they start asking if the two of them had gone somewhere alone, which is why they left the guards behind, but both of them deny it at the exact same moment, making the servants even more suspicious, especially since their nervousness is obvious. Leon quickly ends the situation and tells Hyuju to go rest in her room. She agrees and leaves. Once she lies in bed, she cannot stop thinking about Leon and the last moment they shared together. The thoughts keep her awake all night. On the other side, Leon is also thinking about her. Eventually, he leaves his room and goes to her door. Hyuju is shocked when she finds him standing there, but she becomes even more nervous and does not answer him. Leon only laughs softly before walking away. The next morning, Hyuju heads out to work, trying to sneak away so Leon will not see her, but he is already walking behind her. The moment he calls her name, she gets startled and almost falls again like usual, but he catches her in time and grabs her hands. The second she sees him, she becomes flustered and runs away from him, telling him she is late for work. Leon can only laugh at her reaction. Later, Hyuju goes to the church because she genuinely starts believing she is possessed from how much she keeps thinking about the prince. But while she is there, she suddenly receives a call from Leon. He talks to her about the wedding preparations, but at that moment, Mr. Lee calls out to her. Hyuju is forced to hang up on Leon, which annoys him greatly because he wants to know who is with her. Choi notices Leon's reaction and keeps teasing him about it. Meanwhile, Hyuju rides in Mr. Lee's car. While he is driving, she notices him smiling and says he seems to enjoy driving exactly like the prince does. She keeps talking about Leon, which irritates Mr. Lee because he begins to feel that she is starting to fall for Leon. When he drops her off at work, he warns her not to get attached to Ian because they are destined to divorce eventually, and in the end, she could get hurt. Hyuju becomes upset by his words, though she hides it, and tells him she is not stupid enough to fall in love with him. After reaching her office, Hyuju tells her secretary to bring her brother to her. It is revealed that she plans to make him the heir to her shares. Back at the palace, the lady-in-waiting gives the young king a list of dates so he can choose a wedding date for the prince. Leon enters, and the young king tells him he is thinking about choosing the first day of the month. Leon looks over the dates and deliberately chooses a different one. When the king asks why, Leon says he still needs more time. The king agrees and selects Leon's choice. Then the scene shifts to Hyuju as she visits the branches of her company. She warns everyone that even after marriage, she will continue monitoring the sales herself. At that moment, her brother enters with his wife. Hyuju is surprised to see her sister-in-law and wonders what brought her there. The woman immediately clings to Hyuju and says she missed her, which is why she came, but Hyuju pays her no attention. Hyuju then tells her brother she is handing all her shares over to him, but if he wastes them, she will kill him. After saying that, she leaves. Her brother is left stunned that she truly transferred her shares in the company to him, while his wife looks delighted by what happened. Afterward, Hyuju goes to the place where they are preparing the wedding outfits. She becomes nervous when she sees Leon there too, and pretends to busy herself with something else, but Choi tells her to come out and try on the dress. Once she finishes, Leon walks closer to her. She startles, but he only fixes her hair. Hyuju becomes deeply embarrassed because it happens in front of everyone. She quickly signals to her assistant and says they are late for work, but Choi interrupts and says the doctor will arrive shortly to conduct mandatory medical examinations before the wedding. He also tells her that tomorrow they are invited to her father's house because, according to tradition, the husband must greet the bride's father. The secretary confirms that her father already knows. Choi continues explaining that he is going now to deliver the wedding gifts to her family home. At her father's house, Choi delivers the gifts and reads a royal decree personally written by the young king before handing it to Hyuju's father. He explains that although wedding ceremonies are usually supposed to begin from the bride's home, due to security precautions, the ceremony will instead begin from the prince's private residence. Her father's face clearly shows his disapproval, not only toward the arrangement, but toward the marriage itself. Meanwhile, the wife of Hyuju's brother looks thrilled that the wedding will happen at the prince's residence, completely living in her own fantasy world. But Hyuju's father angrily tells Choi to finish speaking quickly because he is busy with work. Meanwhile, the doctor performs a preliminary examination on Hyuju. Choi informs her they will later need to visit the hospital for a complete checkup, but Ian interrupts and orders everyone to leave them alone. It becomes clear that he noticed how tense she has been and how unlike herself she seems. He gently asks if she is all right. Hyuju complains that he keeps acting kindly toward her in front of everyone and constantly stares at her in ways that make her unable to focus. Ian laughs and tells her those are simply his normal looks. At the same time, the queen's assistant tells her about Leon's latest behavior and says he seemed upset earlier that morning. Then Queen decides to go take a walk with the prince. When she meets Leon, she asks whether something is bothering him and whether it has anything to do with what happened between him and Hyuju during dinner the previous night. Leon denies it. Then she asks if something happened between him and Hyuju that made him upset with her. Leon immediately responds, "So you want that to happen?" The queen continues and says that he and Hyuju come from completely different worlds, so it is impossible for them to ever get along. Leon embarrasses her by replying, "You and my brother came from the same world. Did you two get along? Were you happy together?" Yun is unable to answer him. The story then flashes back to the past, back when their relationship was still good. The queen had been arguing with her husband because he refused to accompany her to an event she wanted to attend. Leon entered at that moment and offered to go with her instead. She warned him his father might scold him, but Ian casually replied that his father scolds him all the time anyway. Back in the present, the queen tells him there can never be happiness within royal life. The scene then moves to the queen dowager as she remembers the past after the king died. The king had gone to her and told her the press would soon learn about the king's death, meaning the crown prince would have to inherit the throne. She completely broke down and revealed that the king had abandoned the throne for the prince instead. She explains that she had to protect her son's future, which is why she did what she did. Leon is shocked and asks if she was truly behind the fire. She confirms it herself and admits that she burned everything. Later, Leon looks at the marriage contract between himself and Hyuju before locking it away in his safe. Then he takes out the king's will, the document relinquishing the throne, revealing that he has possessed it all along. The next day, Leon and Hyuju head to her father's estate. Choi warns them that people may be waiting outside to see them, so they must smile, and Hyuju should walk behind the prince. Hyuju is visibly nervous about seeing her father. She quietly asks Choi how long they are supposed to stay there. Choi tells her at least 4 hours. Hyuju is horrified. Leon notices immediately and realizes her relationship with her father is terrible. When they arrive, her family welcomes them. Her father asks Leon to take care of Hyuju and protect her, especially since she is marrying into a palace notorious for scandals and accidents. Leon reassures him that he will protect her, but Hyuju suddenly laughs sarcastically and tells her father he does not need to pretend he loves her. She points out that when she got into an accident, he never even called to check on her. Her father ignores her words and dismisses her as immature and ignorant. Hyuju becomes visibly upset and nearly bursts into tears, but she changes the subject and mockingly asks whether he plans to give her a wedding gift, the same way he gave her brother company shares at his wedding. Her brother immediately tells her to be quiet because the prince is present. Hyuju stands up and apologizes for losing control before leaving. Her father remains silent and says nothing to stop her. Leon rises and says he will go check on her. When he enters her room, he notices it is filled with medals she won. Hyuju tells him to leave and says she will come downstairs once she calms down, but Leon ignores her and sits beside her instead. She feels ashamed that he witnessed her family relationship in such a humiliating way. Leon gently tells her, "My family is even worse than yours." To comfort her, he promises that he will always stay by her side and give her whatever she wants. Hyuju suddenly asks him if he loves her. Leon is startled. She explains that his behavior and the way he treats her make her feel like he loves her. Leon falls silent for a moment before finally admitting that he truly does love her and that this is the first time he has ever liked someone this much. Then he asks if she is afraid he will refuse to divorce her later. He reassures her not to worry because he would never force her to stay with him if she no longer wanted him. Afterward, he takes her back to the residence while he himself returns to the palace. When Hyuju arrives, she finds the servants waiting anxiously